What up, YouTube? Today we're going to talk about a well-known artist that was recently banned from a popular NBA event that was held over the weekend. Chris Brown, who was told that he could not play in the NBA All-Star game. He had took to Instagram to share this on his story. I was asked by the NBA to play in the All-Star game this year, only for them to call later and they say they couldn't do it because of their sponsors like Ruffles. I'm sick of people bothering me and I'm tired of living in the effing past. And here's the email that he detailed on his IG story detailing what his attire he'd be wearing. The email does read, NBA All-Star 2024 welcomes Chris Brown. Welcome to 2024 NBA All-Star Weekend. We are thrilled that you will be a part of the weekend, saying the event in question was going to be NBA ESPN All-Star Celebrity Game and that the day would be February 16th. I'd like to connect you with Holly Cisco, talent manager for the Lucas Oil Stadium at this year's event. Her team will specifically handle your logistics for the weekend schedule, travel, ground transportation flow. They will also be facilitating your interaction with some other department, including credentials, ticketing, and hospitality. It is our goal to make your experience as smooth and seamless as possible. At your earliest convenience, please provide a press-approved headshot and bio. All the best, Keith. And in another part of the email, somebody shared the attire that would be worn during the game. And after that, Chris, on his last part of his story, says, I only go where I'm appreciated. And the typical response from this was, well, it was something that happened when he was a teenager. Rihanna hit him first. But the problem with a lot of this is that if you're a man, it don't matter if you got hit first and you're just simply defending yourself. When you're somebody like Chris Brown, who has all the endorsements, has all these things going for him, you cannot defend yourself if it's against a woman. Now, if you beat another man's ass, it was like he wouldn't have lost nothing. You think that if that was a man in the car whose ass he beat, he would have lost anything? No. Like, take Alvin Kamara, for example. He would have got kicked off the Saints team if that person that he beat up in Vegas was a woman. He beat the shit out of a guy in Vegas. He ain't lost a dime. But that's just how these companies move. It's a bad look if you support somebody financially or do business with someone who has a history or reputation of beating a woman. And granted, even though he did it when he was a teenager, I don't think that's something people could just excuse because, oh, he's a teenager. That means we should just excuse him for beating a woman. I mean, no, that's not nothing you should ever excuse regardless of the man's age. Now, us as people, we've all forgiven Chris ever since that happened. But as far as companies go, they're never going to forgive him. And I do think as well, ever since Adpocalypse all them years ago, I think it was back in 2017, where there was literally an advertisement played on a YouTube video that featured something involving terrorism. I'm not sure if it was a alleged beheading or whatever, but it was some wild shit. And it had the company's advertisement running on the said video, causing a bunch of outrage, causing them to gain more and more power. And here we are today. I think before then, you know, these advertisers had power, but they didn't have the power that they got now, to where they are the puppet masters. They are the puppeteers. They run shit. People can talk about how much the Illuminati run shit. Fuck all that. The mighty ad dollar runs everything. And that's not hate. That's not me hating on advertisers. I understand it's a business. They don't want to lose money and so on and so forth. But I think Adpocalypse had a big impact on the world around us right now. But you look at it now, ad dollars and sponsors, they are running shit. They're telling people, they're telling companies, hey, if you do business with him or her, we are done with you. These companies got a lot of money in their pockets to make sure they control anything and everybody. Now, granted, I understand why they do it from a business point of view, which is why the onus gets to be on us as the creators or whoever has access to these lucrative deals. Make sure you move right. Make sure once you secure a bag like that, you don't fumble it by doing dumb shit. I will give Chris Brown credit for working tirelessly to repair his image after that happened ever since that fateful day. And ever since then, like, his music ain't been affected by it. I think his music is still great. Anything he puts out, I'm going to still listen to. I'm going to be there day one. And I think that's just something Chris should just take on the chin. Well, if I can't go to the Celebrity All-Star game, if I can't attend certain events, I should at least look at it like, well, on the bright side, I still got my music that I had to work hard just to get back into good graces of people. But as far as the companies go, they are never doing business with somebody like Chris Brown again. And this is just from my observation, at least. It's a money thing. Okay, if Ruffles gives the NBA $10 million or $20 million to do a sponsorship, to run like a 30-second advert, like reading off a script type of shit. The moment Ruffles hears about, oh, y'all bringing in Chris Brown, well, we would like it if y'all tell Chris Brown, no, he can't come. And it kind of puts the NBA in an awkward position because you didn't already invited the guy, but now because your sponsor finds out who you invited, they're going to be like, well, he's on the no-fly list, essentially. Companies like Ruffles, they don't care what type of apology tour you've been on for the past 10 years or 15 years. They look at it from a business and money perspective. How is this going to affect our bottom line? And honestly, it would have affected Ruffles' bottom line greatly. Because if they had been cool with it and the NBA had been cool with it, it would have been a bunch of other sponsors to pull out. I'm pretty sure Ruffles wasn't the only one. And if Ruffles was cool with it, their sponsors and other people they do business with would have been like, we're not going to help y'all. We're not going to do business with y'all because you do business with him. And unfortunately, that's how things work and operate in a capitalist society. Is what it is. This is something I necessarily agree with, no, but it's part of the game. Is what it is. It's just like if you are a content creator and you work so hard to eventually get an ad deal, a sponsorship, a commission check, then you ain't trying to put yourself in a position where you align yourself with people who have a checky past like that, because it could affect your money. You got to play the game, and just to make sure you don't affect your own bottom dollar that you worked so hard to accumulate over time. Like, say for example, Aiden Ross, he can invite somebody like Chris Brown in his stream because he don't give a damn about losing money. Okay, he feels like he's not going to lose anything by having Chris Brown on. And I'm pretty sure, and he's possibly been told this in his past, because of certain things he's said and done, he may not ever get certain opportunities ever in life. And is it really going to affect his bottom line? No, because he makes $100 million on Kick, and he's a partial owner in that. But the point being, Aiden ain't going to care about his bottom line being affected. But let's say somebody like Kai Cenat, he may not have Chris Brown on his stream. But if you think about it, he just recently signed a humongous deal with Nike. Hypothetically, let's say if Nike has an issue with him bringing on Chris Brown, they may say at the last minute, hey, if you don't tell Chris Brown that he's not welcome on stream, we're going to pull our sponsorship. And as a creative, you got to ask yourself, am I willing to lose that money just to have Chris Brown sit next to me? Probably not. And it's going to put both people in an awkward position. It would put Kai in an awkward position because instead of hitting up his agent or whoever he talks to about that before he invited Chris Brown, now he got to deliver the bad news to Chris. And I think that's what happened with the NBA. They didn't reach out to their sponsors and say, hey, is it cool if we bring on Chris Brown at the All-Star Celebrity Game? And they all had unanimously said no. I don't think they would have never sent the invite. Two things can be true in the sense of NBA wanted to send Chris Brown a message in the sense of, hey, remember that thing you did when you were 17? Bop. Let's bop you in the head and make you remember what you did by trolling you into you thinking you're going to be at the celebrity game when you're not. And do I think that's fucked up? Absolutely. But companies do that maliciously, and they'll do it just to send a message and to remind you what you did. But also, I do think it could have been a bit of an error on NBA's part, not reaching out to sponsors first before they invited Chris. If that had to happen, I don't think we'd ever be in this predicament. But this is why, as men, we gotta take accountability when we do some fucked up shit, and we gotta understand that whatever that fucked up thing we did is gonna go with us for the rest of our lives. Like, you're not going to expect that a company reach out to a sex offender and say, hey, even though you're a sex offender, let's do business. They're not gonna do that, of course. Same as if a guy was a former serial killer in the 90s. You think that they're gonna give him a bag? No, they would not give the Zodiac killer a bag if he was out and about. I don't even know if he's alive. But I'm pretty sure Chris knows this no more than anybody. I don't think he has to be reminded by anyone about the mistake he made at that young of an age. He probably beats himself up every day like, yo, if I could turn back time, I would have never did what I did. And he probably would have been an even bigger star today had he never did that. But I will tell you this, because of that Chris Brown incident, it practically tells me and anybody else, when you get popping, when you start having your own level of motion of what not to do. If a woman beats on you, let her whip your ass, especially when you got shit to lose. It's one thing if you ain't got shit to lose, and hey, by all means, do what you feel like you got to do. Because some men ain't going to take that. But the ones who ain't going to take that are the ones who ain't got shit else to lose. But if you got a bag to lose, take your liquor like a man. You'll be all right. Because the worst thing that'll happen is what? A couple people laugh at you or try to laugh at you for getting your ass beat by a woman. Yeah, all right, that ain't nothing. And if you ask me, I'd rather get my ass beat by a woman if it meant I get millions of dollars year over year. But with that being said, y'all, let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Till next time, I'll catch y'all in the next video. Peace.